for the Joan Quinn Profiles. As an editor for Andy Warhol's Interview, the Los Angeles Herald-Examiner, LA Style, and Detour magazines, Joan covered the social set, the Hollywood hotshots, the international art scene, the mysteries of food, the excitement of travel, and the fabulous world of fashion. Joan continues to find creative people on the cutting edge who make things happen. Here's Joan Quinn.
Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and welcome to the Joan Quinn Profiles. Waiting to be profiled today is actor Michael Cory Davis and artist Sophia Gasparian. Sophia's paintings are on the set, and this is the portrait that she did of me behind me. So you'll get to talk to her when she comes on the show. Michael Cory Davis, actor, writer, director, was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. He began his training at Satellite West, which was a junior high school there. And because of his training there, he was accepted to the very prestigious LaGuardia High School for the Performing Arts. You were ready early on, weren't you, to go into show business?
Yes, I was.
How did that happen?
Our very artistic family. My mother's a teacher and my father is not in the arts. He's in aviation, but they always allowed my brother, my sister, and myself to be as outlandish and playful and artistic and creative as possible.
Are your brother and sister in the same?
My brother is in medicine and my sister is in advertising. So, but interestingly enough, my brother still finds time to do music, to do beats for different types of music, and my sister deals on the business side of the art. She's in the advertising.
Oh, so but she's in a little more creative kind of thing.
Yes.
So what were the influences at the house? It didn't sound like, I mean, a teacher and a businessman, more or less?
It was the performance of the family. My sister would dress up like Tina Turner and do these concerts, and I would be her drummer. We would do all these crazy things. My mother would dress up as monsters and chase us around the house.
Oh, so your mother performed?
My mother's she was a big performer, big actress, and it just took to all of us, especially to me.
But then you went to you went into the Satellite West. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
What is that?
Well, I went to Montessori Academy, which is a school when I was younger, and we did a lot of performances there, Pirates of Penzance and Annie and all these kinds of plays. From there, I went to a public school in Brooklyn and then moved to a junior high school. The junior high school, Satellite West, was actually at the time for gifted and talented kids, which I don't really understand the labeling of that, but either way, I had a teacher, Mr. Valdez. I'll never forget Mr. Valdez. He is the one who really honed in on my ability as an actor. And he just told me, he said, you're in 8th grade now, you have to consider high school. I think you would be a key for getting us, meaning Satellite West, into performing arts high school just by your abilities. So he trained me for 2.5, 3 months before the test.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, so you had to take a test to get into the school?
It's a very serious, intensive test to get into that high school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's based on grades first and foremost, but then just equally as high is the ability.
So then that's why when you came out of there, you went right to daytime.
Straight into daytime. Actually,
that's shocking, though, isn't it, to come out of a performing arts school or high school and go right into daytime performance?
Well, one of the things about Performing Arts High was that at least in my year, my senior year, they intensely teach you about career management and also and the opportunities. So you have Juilliard, you have a lot of.
You mean where you can go?
Where you can go. So they give you the outlets for college. They prepare you for that, and they also prepare you if you choose to go the route of just jumping in the business. And for me, it's like I loved the idea of college. And actually, I got accepted into a number of colleges for filmmaking, which is where my interests also lied at the time. But I saw the tangible, practical application of working and being an artist, and I just said, skip the school aspect and I'll go straight into it.
So you went right into TV?
Went right into TV first.
And then you did off-Broadway?
Then I did off simultaneously off-Broadway, and ended up opening up my own little acting lab.
That's pretty gutsy.
I thought
to
so.
open your own acting lab. I mean, how confident were you that you thought you could be teaching people? What were you, about 18 or 19?
I was about 18 and a half, going on 19. And I had.
I mean, that's like really chutzpah, isn't it?
Yeah, my father always taught me, you know, to try to own everything that you have. And so that when I grew up, that was basically what I always, that was the fiber that, you know, that made me, is to be as proactive as possible. My parents instilled that in me, so.
And during that time, you made a small film. Your filmmaking process started coming to light,
Well,
I guess.
While working on All My Children, working at the restaurant as a waiter, doing off-Broadway.
The restaurant, I didn't hear about that.
I was working at a Jamaican, because my family, our origin is Jamaican. So I was working at a restaurant in Brooklyn, Brata Cafe, selling, you know, I mean, it was a great restaurant. I was a waiter.
Well, that's good. I'm glad, because don't you have to be a waiter to be an actor?
You have to be a waiter to be a real actor.
That's what I thought.
A waiter or a bartender.
So that's good. So you did that part of it.
I had the official training, exactly.
Yeah, okay, and then?
I basically saved up about $10,000 from all of that work in about 9 months, and ended up basically producing, writing, directing, and starring in Love Lost, which was a film that I wrote about two sibling brothers who had this rivalry and this competition towards getting love from their mother.
Did you, really?
Yeah.
Was it autobiographical?
No, everyone asks that. No, it wasn't. It was
You
just,
two guys weren't fighting for your mommy?
No. I just loved the drama of it all. So
sounded like your mother was right there in the middle, taking care of both of you anyway. That you didn't have to worry about that.
My mom's she's a great.
Yeah. So, how did you have access to studios and post-production and editing and all that?
You'd be surprised what young people are doing. When something is meant to happen, it just does. I found the DOP, a director of photography, and he himself was maybe about 27 at the time, and he had a lot of people who he knew, way older than me, about 9 years older than me, who were already doing their own private work.
So they came into your project?
They came in, they liked the script, they helped me out, and I ended up getting a small in-house post-production lab where they did everything for me.
Then you came to LA. Why would you come to LA when you were being so successful in New York?
I'm still trying to figure that out. Actually, it was a producer who saw Love Lost and liked it and asked me to come out at the time, and considered optioning the script, basically.
So you didn't have any trouble getting work, because you jumped right back into daytime.
But I also jumped back into daytime as well. Yes.
But did they know your work from the New York?
It took some
daytime?
time. I mean, don't get me wrong. When I got here to LA in '99, it definitely was a challenge. Los Angeles is a different type of beast compared to New York.
Did they resent you because you'd been on Broadway, that you had that?
No.
No, there wasn't any of that problem?
No, there is a difference in regards to acting form when you have TV and film here on stage in New York so much.
Well, once you were in LA and you got established, you went to Bulgaria.
Yes.
Because I want to lead into the next film that you made, which was Svetlana's Journey.
Yes.
But why did you go to Bulgaria?
I was hired in 2003 to do a film for the Sci-Fi Channel, and ended up going to Bulgaria and doing a ton more.
Did they take all American actors?
It was a mixture, actually. It was a combination. We're hired here, and then some artists are used there, some local hires and what have you.
Was it a totally professional?
Extremely. Extremely.
Situation for you?
It's production companies here that use people, that hire us here and take us there.
And then do they kind of take care of you? Do they watch over you? They do?
Oh, of course, yeah. Of
You're
course. You're not just thrown into
into Sophia.
Yeah, into like Sophia, Bulgaria, and say, hey, now find your way and make sure you're on set at 6 in the morning. No, you're very well taken care of. And
while you were there, you had this experience. You met a girl, and I'm going to just show this because this is the DVD of Svetlana's Journey, which is a documentary.
Narrative, actually. It's more of a docudrama, yes.
Oh, it is? Mm-hmm. And are you in it?
No.
Is it your voice?
Yes, the trailer is my voice.
Oh, okay. Yes. We're going to see the trailer, and then you can tell us about it.
Most definitely.
I heard stories of girls in the orphanage who were taken by people like this. Mama said the orphanage would keep me safe. The orphanage said these people would keep me safe. Maybe grown-ups don't know what safe really means.
A new place to call home. When she entered, her journey began. Svetlana's journey.
You know, Michael, we talk so much. I'm an NGO to the UN, and all countries are plagued with this trafficking of young women, older women, and it's such a problem in the world. How did you actually get to make this movie?
Well, you know, when I was in Bulgaria, I received some fame, some fanfare because of the work that I do on The Bold and the Beautiful. It allowed me, at that time when I was working on the show, people recognized me, what have you. So I got very famous and very known and acknowledged very quickly. Because of it, I was invited to a number of different events, government events and what have you. And I went to a fundraiser for Face to Face Bulgaria, which is they're basically an international NGO as well, with Face to Face International, which is the United Nations organization. And at the fundraiser, I learned about the startling numbers, the stats.
I know. And it's not just
millions.
Bulgaria, right?
Oh no, it's
just
definitely not
shocking.
Bulgaria. It's tons of girls and women and boys and men from so many global routes and countries who are taken and brought even to the United States. And there was a conference that I just left recently in Texas, finding out about the large numbers of people who are brought here.
And how they're fooled. They're really innocent.
How they are fooled into
Almost
thinking,
all of them are innocent, aren't they?
They think they'll have jobs here. They think they'll get schooling here and things like that. And actually, in the case of Svetlana, it's a little bit different because her adopted parents sold her for 10,000 euro to a family in Holland, and basically to a pimp family in Holland. And she was abused, raped 15 times a day for 8 months.
They sold her?
13 years old.
14?
13.
13.
13. It's a very startling story. It's one of many stories that I heard from actual kids that I met, because when I was there in 2003 and 4, I traveled with Face to Face to a number of different orphanages, so I could speak to kids about, just the quality of life.
Were they open with you?
Very much so open. They were extremely happy to see just someone they deemed a celebrity come in and talk to them. And I mean, I stayed 2-3 hours with some of the kids. It was a great time.
So how long is this film?
The film is 40 minutes long, so that it was made for 40 minutes so that I can put it on TV in Bulgaria, and for the other 20 minutes or so have the people at the NGO actually speak about not only the project but about the cases and the help that is out there for these young girls and victims.
I praise you for doing this work, because not enough people know about it, and to have somebody who has a celebrity being himself and also going out and doing something for mankind is fabulous.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
And don't go away. We'll be right back with artist Sophia Gasparian. Hi, I'm Joan Quinn. Welcome back to the Joan Quinn Profiles. Artist Sophia Gasparian was born in Armenia and as a preteen moved to Los Angeles. She earned a degree in theater arts from UC Santa Cruz and a Master of Fine Arts in filmmaking at the San Francisco Art Institute. You were in film and theater. I always thought you were a painter.
Well, with film and video, it's a lot of collaboration. You work with dozens of people, and with painting, it's you alone.
Exactly. Well, which is better?
For me, it was painting, the process of solitude.
You could take that. But why were you really thinking about being a filmmaker in the beginning?
Because when we immigrated here, arts weren't encouraged. it was emphasis on getting a job at a corporation with health insurance. So arts were something you do for fun.
Which is
on
what
your
we
spare
did
time.
in the U.S. in the 50s. You had to go to college to be a teacher or a nurse or something with a
Earn the
profession.
bread.
Yes.
And you do your art as a hobby. And the life circumstances led me to UC Santa Cruz, and I didn't speak English, so I learned English there pretty much.
Really?
How to read and write. And
But that was a pretty loose campus, wasn't it?
it was like being in the 60s.
Uh-huh.
And from there, I discovered their film and theater department, which was amazing, and made movies. And I had a portfolio, and I got into San Francisco Art Institute the first year I applied.
Because of your filmmaking?
Film portfolio, yes.
Ah.
Yes, yeah.
But that was such a wonderful, fertile ground for painters. Did that change you?
San Francisco Art Institute. What happened is I was doing experimental film and video with filmmaker George Kuchar. That's one of the reasons I went to that school.
Oh, I see.
I'm a big fan of his.
And what was he doing?
He was teaching there. He has a class he's been teaching for over 30 years. And
his style?
And his style is very psychotronic, experimental, and he was one of the first artists who went from 16 millimeter to video.
So you knew all about that?
All about that, yes. And I went there to study with him, and San Francisco Art Institute was so experimental, just from the beginning of time, and I started doing installations with paintings and projected video and sound.
Were you painting yourself?
I was
to make
painting
those
for those installations.
Oh, you were?
Yes, and showing films and videos.
I see.
And then I just decided that's what I want to do. I want to paint.
But the thing with your painting is it shows the transition. It seems like your paintings tell stories, so they're almost films in a way.
They are, because I appreciate landscapes from centuries ago, but I'm not interested in painting landscapes. So narrative is really important in the work. Each painting means something, and it takes the longest to compose it, to come up with the idea.
Are they political?
They are socio-political, and that's why I take innocence and childlike images, but the messages are political somehow. But I don't consider myself as an activist.
I see.
Because I'm an artist. My work happens to be socio-political.
Did you have to take more classes when you decided to be a painter?
Yes, I took a class at Santa Monica College.
Oh, you did?
I
So
took
you
a
did.
collage class and collage history class.
So collage actually is a
It's
big, part of your
element.
work.
Yes, it is. And then I took a class at Art Center with Clayton Brothers, and my husband Tate Mosesian is an illustrator and an oil painter, and I took most of my lessons from him.
So you have, once you decided to be an artist, you were totally immersed in painting. You totally immersed yourself.
Yes. I drew and painted since early
Oh,
childhood.
you did.
But I took a break because I had to learn English and get education. And I went back and I took some classes.
You talked about the Clayton Brothers at, where is
Art
it?
Center,
Art
Pasadena
Center
Art
in
Center.
Pasadena. Was that a big influence on your work, or had you already started
I
this?
already started, and I started to be in group shows in Los Angeles and New York, but taking that class, it summed everything up.
And what was it basically?
History.
Tell my viewers what they do basically, what kind of
They
artwork.
teach illustration. They teach illustration, but they shifted to fine art. And their work is very loose, very, I won't say experimental. Some people call it folk art. But
Oh, really?
Yes, but they are influenced by that.
Well, what style would you call your work?
I call it Armenian manga because
Manga, that's
it's the
Japanese.
I'm very influenced by the pop culture,
I
and
see.
I adore Japanese manga.
I was just going to ask you about, is anime art part of your psyche?
It is big influence. I traveled in Indonesia, and I actually studied what the artists who paint manga influenced by.
Well, do you think that'll last as an art form? We're calling it manga. They call it anime as well, don't they? And they call it
Yes.
video and pop art and all
And
different.
here, like some places consider it cartoonish, and they
Cartoonish,
don't
yeah.
even consider it fine art. But to me, I think it's what the painting is about. If there is content, if it's conceptualized and there's content, then it makes it a fine art versus an illustration or a cartoon.
You curated a show for the Modern Museum of Art in Armenia.
In Armenia, it
How
opened.
did you think of doing something like that?
I just had that idea to do a requiem for the genocide for the longest time, and most of galleries and museums don't want to show genocide-related subjects because they can't sell it.
I see.
Majority of people don't want tragic paintings on their walls, so we were rejected from a lot of venues in Los Angeles, and we decided to do it at the Museum of Modern Art in Armenia and make it part of the 90th commemoration,
So,
which is this year.
In following with your curating that show, it was an open process. You had people apply, send you
yes.
slides.
Lots of advertising and marketing, and people were sending slides, and the committee was actually formed in Armenia with the museum director. They selected the pieces and the artists.
And the museum director is Henrik Igitian.
Igitian, yes.
And he founded the Modern Museum of
He did,
Art.
yes. And he is an art critic,
As
and
well.
that was really important to us.
So you sent all of the, did you go through it first and pick out so many that you thought were worthy and then send it to him?
I did, yes, I did.
But after you got this show mounted, which is a great thing to do, you decided to open your own art gallery.
Yes. Thanks to you, I met some wonderful people who had great love for art, interest in opening a gallery, and background in business, which is very
Which is what
important.
yeah, tell me what you
Yes.
need in opening a gallery.
Well, we named the gallery Black Maria, which is really important
Because?
because you just have to have a good name and believe in. And we just decided to show non-mainstream art, a lot of experimental work, because there are a lot of artists in Los Angeles and in New York. I'm not really sure about Europe because I haven't traveled in the last 5 years. And a lot of them don't get shows because
Because
they're
they're
not
what?
recognized.
Because they're not recognized or because their art is more...
Non-traditional,
Yeah.
or because it's the beginning of their career. And a lot of artists don't take marketing classes. They don't know about publicity and marketing.
Right.
So we wanted to open this venue, Black Maria, to give them a home.
It's in Atwater Village?
It's Atwater Village,
Which is really-
3137 Glendale Boulevard.
Which is really Los Angeles, right?
It is Los Angeles,
It's in
yes.
between
Silver
Glendale?
Lake, Hollywood,
Oh.
and it leads you to Glendale
And
Cemetery.
what did Black Maria mean
Well,
in your mind?
in Maria is Jesus' mother.
Right.
And we had a lot of affirmations regarding this. And black, it's because it's underground. It's because black of us being immigrants and ethnic people. And also the policeman that transports prisoners from jail to prison, it's called Black Maria.
Oh, it is.
And my
that car is?
It's, the slang is Black
Oh, that's
Maria.
it.
And Thomas Edison had a movie studio, experimental studio called Black Maria. So that's how I first heard about that term.
So the name was great, but then you have to know how to market. You have to know how to choose the artist.
Choose the artists, and also you have to have a couple of curators who know the artists,
I see.
because that's really
You mean to
important.
bring them in
to
to
bring
you?
them in.
What other obstacles come up when you're doing an exhibit?
Just people being flaky and not following up because
Yeah.
there's so much going on.
I bet.
So a lot of follow-up phone calls and emails to get the show going. But Zara's master's in business administration is a great
Zara
asset for us.
Zaytunjan is your partner.
And she's the proprietor of the gallery.
She's the business part.
And Sam Sagatelian, painter, and I are the curators.
Oh, I see. So you're the two artist curators. She's the
yes.
business part. When an artist comes to you, can they come and bring their work to you, and you'll look at it and decide if it should
we
be?
will. We will do that because that's part of the gallery, keeping it low key and non-mainstream. We want open communication and no arrogance. We want people and artists to be really comfortable at the gallery.
Well, I'm going to just show this because it's close enough for me to hold up. And behind is a portrait that you did of me a couple of years ago, which I absolutely adore. And it has collage on it. Does this piece have any collage on it?
This is a drawing. It's color pencils on paper, on illustration board.
And tell us what it really depicts.
I did a series called The Day of the Dead, and this is a genocide orphan, shoeless, who walked through the desert because she was deported, and she has her loyal companion, the black dog, and she's shoeless, and
she's yelling help.
And she's asking for help, and this whole process of deportation, like it cost her an arm and a leg. But you see, she's standing on green. So it means she's on safe land. She's not on the desert anymore where she's going to die.
Yeah, behind me, I'm just going to point because I think this is easy to see where the collage comes in, right in here.
The twins.
The twins. Those were drawn. I have twin daughters, and that was the way that you brought the whole family together?
Yes.
What were you thinking when you
I
were
was
doing
thinking when we met, I was expecting my child.
Right.
Yes. And then I wanted to paint you, and I wanted to do something original. And I thought, why don't I paint you when you were expecting your twins?
And look at my legs.
Yes, legs retaining water, but arms are thin.
Arms are thin.
And the jewelry's there.
Well, you really get the spirit of what's going on. And just like this painting where it says hot at this time, each thing is something in your mind, right? With this one?
Yes, because it takes a lot to research, to do research, and that's how they come to life after doing a lot of research.
That has so many different elements in it. And this white spirit?
White spirit, it's very personal piece. It's the reason my ancestors left Turkey is the genocide. It happened because they were Christian. But when I grew up in the 70s, it was all communist and denying religion, which was what our ancestors suffered from.
I see.
And it's just showing the balance that even though we were tried to be molded into this white, spirited person, we didn't. We held our own.
We held our own, and you held your own today.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for coming to be on the show and bringing your beautiful art for us to see and explaining
Thank you for having me.
Is everything going on in your little mind. Thanks, Sophia.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching the Joan Quinn Profiles. Please continue to write to us at 777 South Figueroa, 44th floor, Los Angeles 90017.